Sattler Todopoderoso.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
It's no doubt Capcom had a big check to cash when they announced that the RE4 remake was official. You're taking a beloved game by so many people whom are very passionate about RE4, and to say that there's a lot riding on this game is an understatement. I feel I'm in a weird spot here because while I've never played the original RE4 firsthand, I've been meaning to play it recently, but I don't think I'll get the chance to with the game being 2 weeks away. But I've watched so many playthroughs, speedruns, lore videos, out of bounds videos, etc., the whole nine, and I can almost say I've experienced the game vicariously through others, but I know that's still not as good as playing the game for myself. But playing through this demo, I gotta say it's incredible. From the atmosphere, the level of detail, the intensity, I really do feel it's faithful in that sense. Quick side note before we get started, I just wanted to take this chance and thank you all for the support on this Acknowledged video. That really means a lot to me, and I can't thank you guys more than enough for that, so let's begin. Where do we start? Because we all know the story by now. RE4 being a follow-up to RE2 and the events of Raccoon City, Leon and Claire surviving the horrors of that night, leading to the city getting nuked, and the aftermath of Leon and Claire moving on with their lives. Now Leon, being a government agent brought on almost unwillingly to help aid with the bioweapon crisis, is tasked with locating and rescuing the missing president's daughter, Ashley Grant. From the trailers, we can see there are clear narrative changes compared to the OG. I feel a good example of this in the remake would be the PTSD element of what Leon went through. It seems to be taking a more stronger emphasis this time around, which is very cool because while it's not drastically changing the tone of the game from the original, it adds a little bit more insanity to what Leon will face as he tries to get Ashley back. Capcom really wants to hammer this point in, and I'm all for it. Coming off this renaissance of Resident Evil with 7, RE2, RE3 Remake, RE8, like, the intensity and the trauma of what the series is known for is taking center stage again. And now, with Capcom being better storytellers and being better at what they can emphasize in these stories, that side can be seen a lot more. We'll see how this narrative plays out when the full game releases, but from what I can see playing this now, this is going to be a lot different from the Leon that we know in the original RE4. Which has me really excited to see how this plays out in the end, to see a more darker, a more, I guess you could say, serious tone to RE4 compared to the original. I know you're not going to make a lot of people happy with this when you come with a remake that comes with the inherent territory of you're going to step on some people's toes. It's inevitable. I know for Final Fantasy VII Remake, it was this exact same problem all over again. So I hope it doesn't piss off fans, but I think it's a worthwhile endeavor to see how this new narrative can play out. Again, this is a small portion, so we don't really know how Leon's character will play out or how his character will be interacting with Ashley, with Luis, with Ada, with Krauser, with everybody else in the game. That has yet to be seen, so when that does happen, I do hope that they keep that same sort of self-aware, campy nature of the original in this. Maybe you could play it a little bit differently, but I do hope that remains the same. But what about gameplay? How does it feel to play as Leon? If I can describe it in one word, it'd have to be heavy. And that's not a bad thing. If you played RE2 and RE3 Remake, it feels a lot more similar to that. But that's my only frame of reference here, so keep that in mind. But in some situations where you're being ganged up on and pressured, it's a little tricky to move around, but I found messing with the acceleration settings and the camera settings, the aiming settings, it felt a lot more better to move around afterwards. But that's all a feel thing, and you'll get used to that over time. Once you do get all of that sorted though, it feels incredibly satisfying to shoot, to parry, to stun a Ganado, leading to one of the special finishing moves like the roundhouse with the suplex. It feels incredibly great to do that, but I'm glad the action prompts are still a part of the game, as it's being a staple of the original RE4. However, it is a little wonky at time if you want to go for a particular move, like let's say the suplex. If a Ganado is facing me face to face, I shoot them in the knee, I get them to be in that kneeling state, and I have to then run around them. Sometimes the prompts will give you a roundhouse instead of a suplex, so I feel if the prompt would last just a little bit longer in those situations, just to give you enough time to get around them fully and be behind them fully to execute that suplex move properly, it would be tremendous, because I think that's one of my most favorite things to do, is just to suplex people all over the place. It's the most fun aspect of the demo to me. But if the prompts could just be tweaked a bit, then I think it would remedy that situation. When it comes to the guns, the demo offers a few weapons, being a pistol, shotgun, and the classic TMP. You can get the TMP by entering the village portion with nothing in your inventory. You'll head down a small well, and at the end of that and after. It's a neat little secret they add. Difficulty chainsaw mode, I think that's what it's called, but that mode has a chance of spawning and being offered to you, but you have to keep resetting your game until it does. But the weapons do feel great to use. The TMP packs a strong punch, which can build up a lot of stun. The pistol, very simple to use and a good way to isolate body parts and disarm your enemies. I also love the little detail where Leon can load one round into the chamber for a quicker first shot. And the shotgun, being very strong, I do feel it doesn't have that power provided to be effective for crowd control, but that's still very strong to use. It just might be the fact that the shotgun isn't upgraded, and once we do get to that point in the full game where we can upgrade the shotgun, I think it could get to that point where it's a little bit better at dealing with multiple people. So just like Jill in RE3 Remake with her defense mechanic being her dodge roll, that I wish Leon would have gotten the same thing here as well, but in trade for that we got a parry mechanic instead. It's that little bit of extra defense that you can get if you're being cornered or you can't reload your weapon in time, and it feels great to do in fights. You can parry a chainsaw, for crying out loud. Sorry, I couldn't resist, but it shows you how much of a priority it'll be to upgrade the knife in the full game. It adds another layer of skill that if you can get good with parrying and being mobile, the combat scenarios can be super intense. It'll take some time getting used to with perfect parrying, but I appreciate the game will reward you for being accurate and being smart with your decisions. Having that opportunity just makes the whole gameplay loop a lot more fun to play. I know Mercenaries mode, when you unlock that mode and you get a chance to play it, will be the go-to mode to play to get that real challenge that the game will offer. But I enjoy playing it, the satisfaction is there, and it's incredibly fun. There's so many secrets and Easter eggs still scattered through this demo, and people are still uncovering them as of right now. But it's incredibly fun to go back into that village portion and just get comfortable with the game, get comfortable with the mechanics, with parrying, shooting, all of it. It's fun to do that, it's fun to learn and be a part of this process. So when the full game comes out and there's even more to learn and more to get better with, it's gonna make that 10 times better. But as first impressions, this has me extremely excited for the full release of the game. The tone and the world looks and feels amazing. Once again, the RE engine showing what it can do, rebuilding a world to be more dark, more ominous, dialing in the trauma that Leon will face going through the game, having intense combat to really test your skills, forcing you to get better at the game. All the signs are pointing in a positive direction. You know, some will swear by and say RE4 OG is one of the greatest games of all time, and while I haven't played the OG firsthand myself, what my impressions are will differ from those who have played it. But it's not crazy to say that Capcom may be able to pull it off once more and capture lightning in a bottle twice, albeit for different reasons this time around. We'll have to wait and see how this all plays out, but I think with how close we are to release, it's best for me not to play the OG right now and go in with a blank slate almost. But what I can say is, This is exceptional work from Capcom and just a taste of what's to come. Let me know what you guys think of the demo in the comments below. I think it's an interesting discussion to talk about remakes as a whole, if it's a worthwhile endeavor or if it shouldn't even be bothered in the first place. But as always, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day if you made it this far in the video, and I'll see you all on the next one.